Hello. 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 Hi, I'm in the awkward stage of trying to get something done. The original awkward stage where I have no idea how to go about it, so I'm really awkward about it. Okay, that's where I am right now. This will be a short video, I promise. The part that matters is in the description, and I guess I'll leave a comment to that effect too. It's an opportunity for you to, if you'd like, empower somebody, a particular individual. Okay, a number of years ago, I came across an article in the newspaper about a fellow who had been kidnapped and was supposed to be killed. Huh. I did everything that I could to try to save him, which, as far as I could tell, was praying and doing good deeds. I didn't have anything practical that I could do. At the time, I was fairly confident in, I guess, what's pretty popular now in terms of what they call manifesting. But from a Jewish perspective, you'd call bitachon. Trust that if you believe that God will do it, then He will do it. And I had fasted and prayed and done everything right, nothing wrong. And I was excited because I believed in this bitachon concept. I was excited to find out that he was okay, that he was released and freed and no longer tortured, kept in a dungeon. I called the person who wrote the newspaper article and claimed that I was in some way related to the guy distantly. Found a good way to explain why, I have no information or ulterior motive, but I'm just curious what happened to him. And well, she informed me about the person she had gotten the story from, which was a relative of his brother. And his brother didn't speak English or Hebrew. I was in Israel at the time. But his brother's his brother's son spoke English and, well, actually Hebrew. And I spoke with him. Anyways, it turns out this fellow who had been kidnapped and was being tortured had not been freed. And I went with this information to some people who have a lot of power and money and ability. And this insane realization dawned upon me that they weren't saving him. They weren't saving him, but had no reason why not to, other than it being difficult. And they're not, not really at the top of their lists. Okay, well, to make a very, very long story, very, very short, eventually it came down to me. I was stuck. It was between me and God or my conscience or whatever it was. There was no one else. And it wasn't like I had any knowledge of how to do it, but I had no choice. Okay, well, I raised the money and I arranged things between all the various organizations. And again, I'm making a very long story very short. This involves all kinds of international organizations, including the FBI and other organizations and people that you have heard of possibly. And I actually saved him. He was released on the first day of Passover, of Pesach, the day of our freedom. Before that day and after that day, I have never myself had as much money as I had, which was necessary to engage in the various activities to free him. I raised that money and freed him. Well, where do I go from here? How do I get to my point? I don't really know. But I didn't know how to do that either. And it was hard as hell. 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 After I approached the first person, a relative who actually has money, and asked for his help, and he looked at me as if I was either an idiot or possibly a thief. On the way back to my home after talking to him, I passed by a park and I broke down and cried. And I thought, like, okay, I guess it's impossible. What am I doing? This is not possible. For whatever reason, something occurred within the next hour that made me vow that I would do my damnedest or die trying to free him. Well, I'm not in that situation right now. It's hard for me to talk about myself. Very, very, very hard. Very, very, very hard. Not out of any sense of shame or anything like, God forbid. I'm quite proud of everything that I is, but out of a sense of some kind of religious humility and stuff like that, and weird moral stuff. But I'm going to jump through all that and not burden you with the psychological issues. The fact is that this guy that you're looking at, the fact is that he's not wealthy. I could tell you how little he has, and then you'd be like, oh, let me help him so he can at least survive. But no, that's not what I'm doing right now at all. What matters is that he's not wealthy. He's not independent. And therefore, no matter how great you might think he is at the mercy of the smallest slings and arrows of outrageous fortune. He's a happy guy. He's not like Hamlet in that respect. But he is very, very diminished, I have to determine. This is not comfortable to say or to believe, but he is very diminished by the fact that he is not independently wealthy. He's very diminished for his own sake and for the sake of, I think he's a pretty good guy, so for the sake of everyone else out there too. For your sake, for everyone's sake, for mankind's sake. Just to let you know one thing about him. Well, first of all, there's a video on here called Final Chance for a Fresh Start. Please watch it, even if you don't understand all of it. But he's the best chance that we have. He really is. I mean, I've been alive for nearly half a century, and he is the best chance that we have for your not dying. I'm not saying that I think he will accomplish it. I'm not saying that it's necessarily even accomplishable. But I promise you, as far as I can tell, and I have looked far and wide, he's our best chance for solving the number one problem. As for smaller problems, like people hurting each other or not working together so that all humanity is doing at least okay, that I think he certainly could easily accomplish, and it's what he wants to do and desires to do. But if he's not wealthy, all it takes is one asshole individual to cause him difficulties and lock him up in a box and keep him preoccupied and just trying to survive. So, in the description and in the comment here, I'm going to include the ways that you can send him, aka, I guess, me, although not really me, because me at this moment speaking to you is not the person who is, me at the moment speaking to you is engaged in only one thing, and that's getting money for him. I don't intend to spend it, and I won't be enjoying it and utilizing it. As somebody who is what they call ADHD, but what I would call spontaneous, he's kind of a different guy than me. I'm not using that money for anything that will benefit me. At least for the next couple days, all that I am is attempting to make him as wealthy as possible. Ideally, to have all the money on planet Earth. But at the very least, enough money that for the next 50 years, should he live that long, 51 years actually, because complicated reasons that you might get an inkling of if you watch that video, Final Chance for a Fresh Start, that he doesn't have to worry about money, that he can speak, he can act without concern about just survival. So I'll be sharing here in the description and in the comment how you can, if you would like, give him money. I am not asking for it. Neither is he. He doesn't exist right now. Again, I know that's weird. But for whatever reason, that's how I got to look at it, because of some very, very deep, scratched morality that disallows me, to do things entirely for myself. And being as I'm not vowing to spend it on X, Y, or Z at this moment, because it's a matter of he needs to be empowered himself, yeah, it's odd that way. Whether you know him in person or you only know him from videos, it's up to you. Now, if you would like to contact me and talk to me, if you have the ability to really, really help, to really, really empower him with money, then get in touch. The number is 646-623-5924. 646-623-5924. I can't swear that I'll see it because I don't do notifications, because I'm busy focused in outward instead of waiting for some incoming to react to. But probably WhatsApp is good, texting is good, and that's it. That's it. If it were up to him, I definitely would not post this video. But luckily, that's why he's exited the building and I'm in charge. Do I think it'll help? Probably not. You probably won't give. But I don't care. I don't care if it embarrasses him. I don't care if it hurts him in any which way. It's the right thing to do. So I'm posting this video. And again, if by any tiny, tiny chance you actually can gift him some very, very large amount, I really recommend getting in touch so that you can make that decision as to whether you want to or not. As for me, I'm not begging for anything at all, as you can tell. That's not something he asked me to do or that I'm empowered to do, and I don't care if he dies in 2 days if he doesn't have enough money. My concern is to see if I can get him wealthy. Well, it's on you.